Good day, everyone. We thank you for watching. We welcome you to our YouTube channel today, Emanzi Business Marketing Agency. Thank you to our sponsor, Serena Hotels, for your time, for your beautiful venues, for supporting us in every way. We are really grateful. We thank you, our viewers, our subscribers. Thank you for the feedback, and we are glad to know that we are doing an impact. We are changing lives. Thank you for supporting us too. Today we introduce to you yet another beautiful topic about business registration. Those with businesses, you need to pay attention and you need to get your pens and note down something. We are discussing this with a friend of mine, a lawyer and an advocate, Ann Karungi. Ann Karungi, thank you for joining us. I know you're a commercial lawyer and you are so relevant in business.
Yes.
Like we say, every businessman needs a lawyer. And I know this topic is going to open up the need for businesses to be registered. And I'm sure there's a lot you have in store for them. It's only to their benefit. So please tell my viewers, who is Ann Karungi?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having me, Sandra, on this show. Very excited. And as you know, that we are in the fourth industrial revolution.
Yes.
So everything is going digital.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that Emanzi Group has caught up with the times.
Yeah.
My name is Ann Karungi. Like Sandra has just told the viewers, I'm a commercial lawyer and I work with Muwema and Company Advocates. And I also sit on the Executive Council of the Uganda Law Society.
Wow.
I have over 10 years of experience in private practice. So I come with a wealth of knowledge, especially where it comes to commercial transactions. Yes. Well, I can say that I loved the law right from my childhood days. I would, during lunch break in O-level, my late father had bought me a trench coat. So I would pretend that it's a lawyer's gown. So I would put witnesses in class. Then we would have murder weapons. Then we'd start asking where was the scene of the crime? Is this the murder weapon? We would put a scene. We would basically create what we call a courtroom scene. We would lay witnesses, like I said, murder weapons, and then there would be a judge to give a verdict. So that is how far
You
much.
are a lawyer before you knew it.
Exactly. Yes.
It's your calling.
So I believe it's my calling. Yeah.
Actually, Ann is also, we studied together with Ann. Those who don't know, I'm a lawyer by profession as well. So I know where she's coming from. She's very passionate about her practice, about her profession. Actually, she takes it a notch higher. She advocates for many, rights and legal things in platforms. And I love her zeal about it. Ann Karungi, what do you think about business?
Okay.
And businessmen and,
Business in general.
in general?
Well, I think that business, I don't think, but I know that business is what drives our economy.
Yeah.
If the business environment of a country is doing well, sometimes it can be reflected from the GDP of that country in a particular year. And so business, basically, the various sectors of the economy, let's say the industry, the agriculture, mining, it's all part of business. And it's what drives our economy. Because if business does not flourish, then the country cannot earn revenue for which to provide services to the taxpayers. Yes. So even us as lawyers, what people forget, we think when we're talking about the business community, we forget that any person who is providing a service, not only the goods, because we believe when you're buying something, but even people any service amounts to a business.
Yeah.
Even us in the legal fraternity, when someone comes to my chamber and they want a service, that is my business. That's where I earn my bread and butter. So all business is all round. Yeah, as long as you can provide a service, as long as you're into you're dealing in goods, we are also it's a circle. So it affects all of us. Though because of that notion, when we think business, we mean the people who are are not the professionals.
The manufacturers, the retailers. And,
yes. So yet we are all one and the same.
Yeah. With business, you've interacted a lot with business people, I'm sure.
Yes.
What has your interaction with them been like? Like their challenges, with especially the way they run their businesses, because we have people like with huge businesses, but maybe they are not in line with the law, or like when you interact with them, what is their
challenge?
Yeah, what are their challenges?
Okay, some of the challenges actually that have affected the business community in Uganda are the heavy tax burden. You find that a man is trying to grow his business, but because the threshold, the heavy tax burden that they have to deal with, tax remittances, the deadlines, the filing of returns, become a huge burden on the ordinary average businessman who is trying to grow his business. You find that they have to pay income tax for a particular threshold of the income that you earned in a given financial year or in a given year of income. Then they also have to pay what we call the corporation tax, the corporate tax for those who are companies, then plus all those other taxes, withholding tax, VAT. So you find that the heavy, there is a heavy tax burden on the business person in Uganda. So that is one of the, and especially more so during COVID, where we know that large sectors of the economy have been locked down. Yes, we have seen government come up with a plan asking all these tax bodies to restructure.
Not to waive.
Not to waive, but to restructure the manner in which they collect the revenue from the business community. But that does not take away the problem. Knowing the fact that many people have not been working, businesses, some of them have been under lockdown. Like we know some of the arcades have never seen, most of the arcades have not seen the light of day. People have not been working for the past 4 months. So you find that there is a heavy tax burden on the taxpayer. Then also, another challenge is, everything rotates around the law. So a businessman must operate his business within the confines of the law. So you find that even when someone has a tax challenge, someone is saying, hanjagala lawyer, but na ye, lawyer agenda kunsera. Na akola chi.
That's another expenditure.
So someone says, let me find a way. Tunafuna muntu anaita wano. What we can like jingirira, or to find how we can evade this tax. But when you evade, it doesn't take away the problem, because when you're got, then you face the long arm of the law. So you find people are afraid to come to us, because they think now if I enter into these chambers of Ann Karungi, she might charge me so much that I already have, a lot on my plate. URA is chasing after me. Yeah? So that is another challenge that the business community faces. Then also, another one is the need for sensitization. Many people, in Uganda we have a large informal sector. You find that 80% of the Ugandans are in the informal sector. This means that they are operating businesses the Juakali way. They are operating businesses in a manner that is not legally recognized by the law. They have no form of registration. Nze nasuka nsubula ebyange, ntwale wali, I open my duka and I deal. But when they look for them in the system, let's say when you try to trace that business, URA does not know it, the Register of Companies does not know it, so that is how many of them are operating. And also that is a challenge to them, because you find that they miss some of the benefits of registration. For example, access to credit from, banking institutions and the like. So yes, those are some of the challenges I think that the business community face, as they carry out their business.
So why business registration? Maybe we also need to talk about what is business registration.
Okay.
And what does it entail for those who
don't know
and really want to change?
Okay. Now, business registration means that your particular business is operating within the confines of the law, the laws that govern that business. Say, for example, if you're operating under a business name, say Sebagala and Sons, then that business name is governed by the Business Names Registration Act. So you're recognized by the law governing that particular business. If you have a company, then you're recognized by the Companies Act, number 1 of 2012. So it means that, or if it's a partnership under the Partnership Act or something, so it means that that business is recognized by the laws that govern that particular business. It also means that your business has been registered by the authority that governs business registrations in Uganda.
It's recognizable.
It's recognizable such that or when I go into the system, let's say at the Register of Companies in Uganda, we have what we call the Uganda Registration Services Bureau. Now that is a bureau that is set up by Act of Parliament that has the mandate to register businesses in Uganda. So let's say, for example, me, Sandra, I want to start a business. I have got my catchy name, my good name that I want to, and I know that this name can sell. I want to go and I need to know business. Then I must go somewhere and carry out a search, because two competing people cannot have the same name for a business. So you must go somewhere to that authority mandated to register businesses and say, does my name, let's say Chiwalabye, Chiwalabye Uganda Limited, does anyone have it? Because in Jagala, I want my business, let's say I'm selling iron bars or steel bars or something, or maybe it's an electrical center. But waliwo mulala na ye are operating at Chiwalabye and Sons, is there another person? So now I will go to Uganda Registration Services Bureau, carry out a search. If I find there is another Chiwalabye, that means if I start then that means I cannot operate that business. So business registration essentially means that you're registered.
When you, after searching and the name is there, is not there, and now you want to start with your own name.
Yes.
So what happens after?
Okay. Now, let's say you have your Chiwalabye and Sons. Like we first said that you must be registered if you want to have a formal business. You will go to the Uganda Registration Services Bureau that is on Georgian House.
Amam House?
It's now became, I think, Georgian House.
Oh, okay.
On George Street, I think, because of the George, I think it's called George Street. So you will go there with your name, whatever name that you have that you think can sell, maybe sell your cakes, maybe trendy cakes or something. Echibala, So you will go, pay some little money, let's say, I think the current fee for searching a name is 30,000. Pay a search fee, and then they will search, fill in a particular form. They will search the register for you. If they find the trendy cakes is no one is using it, then they will reserve your name at just 30K. Now that is what Ugandans don't know. You say, banange njagala kutandika ka business kange batyo baba naye sente.
I think it's because of the middlemen. They make it so complicated.
Yes.
And you find you have to hire someone to do it for you.
Exactly.
Kubanga some of them are like, so masibitegeera
situkayo. Yes.
Some people especially who are downtown.
Yes.
And they're like, situkayo.
Those are
middleman who say, mbayo million.
That is true.
Now that becomes what? A burden.
A burden.
And you find them retrieving.
That is true.
So I think it is very important that they know that this can be done.
Yes.
It doesn't need so much.
Yes.
It doesn't need luzungunyo.
Yes.
And I think there are forms you fill.
There are forms you fill. Actually, even when you go there, you can ask someone to help you. You say, Nineri Nyaliangi. I want to find out, is that name there? They'll just say Nyabogenda, while there are even banks, there are DTBs already there.
All the banks are
Sasule mtwale satu to checking mu system. So fill the form, pay the 30K, come back with the receipt and check the system. Once they do that, they will tell you, Nedda, there is no one using that name. And then before you know it, you have your name your business name, whatever your name that you wish to reserve for a particular kind of business. But even right now, because of digitalization, you can get your name. You can carry out a name search in the comfort of your home. You'll just go to the URSB website, go to the section of searches, type in a name, and before you know, they'll show you the list of names that are already in the system. So once you don't see that name, you'll just go there and pay.
That's fantastic. So after we have reserved our name, what next?
Now, because there are different kinds of different types of businesses in Uganda, you will find that many people in Chikubu, let's say for example in Chikubu, are operating under what we call a business name. Yeah, those that you see, Jemima and Brothers. Now that is a business name to identify that kind of business. Let's say they know that me, Jemima and Brothers, now they know that Jemima has registered their business name. Now the benefit of having a business name, which costs you less than 100,000, there is reserving the name search, which we said is 30,000, but then now there is registering. After you have searched and found no one is using Jemima and Sons, or Jemima and something, then now you say, Kakati Tewali, there is no one using it, let me register it. Kakati, now the registration fee is less than 100,000. You go and register your business name, you fill in a particular form, your address, your what, and you sign. Yeah? Then they give you, before you know it, they give you a certificate of registration of business name.
So,
certificate of registration.
From the time we are searching and registering, just 100,000, you think is enough?
100,000.
Wow.
And do you know the benefit of that? Now the benefit of that is that that name that is registered as a business name, Jemima and Brothers, you can open an account in Jemima and Brothers. It can help you open a separate account from you. So Jemima will have her own account for her family, personal account, but then for the business account is Jemima and Brothers. Yeah? All the bank needs is that certificate of registration of Jemima and Brothers.
So before you get that certificate, and after you when the need comes that you need to register, there are I think there are other steps in between, which are required to be followed before you register. And there are some forms to fill in. I think we need to take our people through that, so that they don't just think, oh, I've come with a name, give me my certificate. Yeah.
Now, it depends on the kind of business. Yeah. Because, for example, for a company.
For a small business.
For a small company. Now, we have what we call a business name.
Yeah.
Then we have what we call a company.
A company.
Now, for a company, the steps are longer.
Yeah.
For a business name, there is only, I think, one form that is in duplicate or triplicate that you fill in. And the moment you fill it in and lodge it in, and also attach your search of name that is approved. Before you know it, they'll call you with your certificate of registration of business name. Now that is one form.
For the small businesses.
Yeah, that is for the small businesses. Yeah. That is for the small nsubula migati jange, nsubula ngoye zange, a small capital. Then there is also there is what we call a company.
A company.
Now for the company, now that one has different status legally. Mumateka company waliwo engeri between a company and a business name.
Actually, what's the difference between a company and a business?
Kakati, now the difference is for a company.
When do you know that you vie for being a company, not a business?
Now for a company, let's say there is a Haji Sebaduka and his wife. They come and they want to form a company. Now they will go through the steps of forming a company. That is, you'll have to have a memorandum and articles of association. Now those memorandum and articles of association will spell out who are the shareholders of that business. Gotese mumeka mu business. Baliwo abagitandika kubanga waliwo ababbi. Your business might succeed 10 years down the road because maybe you brought in a person or something. But in case you need for evidentiary, what did they
contribute?
What was the initial contribution? Who are the promoters of that business? Now those are the people who sign what we call the memorandum and articles of association that govern the company. Yeah, the company. Now, as long as you have your memorandums in order, and certain forms may be showing how many shares that company holds, what is the share capital, mwatesemu sente meka. Kubanga waliwo company obutono, they are the small companies which are about $1 million shillings. That is the small companies. That to the biggest companies, the manufacturing, the big companies that have a share capital of over 500 million. So that allows any person, depending on your level of income, to start or own a company. Yes. So now there you will go and file your memorandum and articles of association. Then you'll have all those forms that spell out your share capital, your address, where you're located. What else do we have? Of course,
also your you need to pass resolutions just to get bank accounts.
Yes.
Opening up accounts in the bank,
yes.
Because I realize it's also very vital.
Yes.
That you have your paperwork. Otherwise, you will not be able to access
that
any
is
facility
very true.
in the bank.
That is very true.
Unless you have your
paperwork in order. So now for the company, people should never fear and say mukama oba njagala meka to register a company. A company ranges,
and
like I
that's the
said,
perception they have.
from a small company of, let's say, share capital. Now if you have a company where your investment zoteseemu katugambe business your share capital is 1 million, then that company registering it will cost you about 250,000 mitwalo 25 ngofunye company yo
certificate of registration
of incorporation.
Incorporation
ngotambula nga sebo lina nyini company. Just at 250,000 you can get a small company in Uganda fully registered.
And the advantages of this registration of companies,
yes,
as in I've seen, because when you want to do public procurement,
thank you,
there is no way
you can do it without a company. That is true.
And it must
tenders.
Be just all those tenders. So if you want to go higher, because now
to grow your business,
we are in a stage where we need to grow our businesses.
Yes.
So we need to take the initial steps if we want to go there. I don't think you just wake up in the morning and you want a tender somewhere like
ngatolina mu system.
So oyina okutandikirawo, and I think now the system is integrated.
Yes.
URA,
yes.
URSB,
yes. KCCA, yes.
It is one system. There is
yes.
Before KCCA gives you anything, URA should be aware.
Yes, and URSB should have recognized you.
URSB should have cleared you on maybe returns,
yes.
annual returns,
yes.
and all that. So it's very, very important.
Yes, and
that
also
we follow those steps, and it's from you we are learning that they are doable.
They are doable.
It's not like skyrocket. I like rocket.
Let's say, for example, you get it. Let's say before COVID, you wanted a tender to supply a certain school with posho. Because you have your people in the school who say jangu twagala olina you have your garden olina nimiro yo twagala otuwa matoke or tuwe beans for the school or posho. Now that school cannot deal with you unless you have a company. Kakati ezo mitwala 25 that you put in to register a company and get your certificate of incorporation. Imagine how much you can get using your company to win that tender to supply a school, and they pay you millions of shillings. Remember capital, otesemu in registering your company, mitwala 25. You have a small company. But wewagamba banange later bring your documents for the tender. You are able to present your company. And if of course you know how and if it goes through the proper processes, and you're able to supply the food, and your business grows just out from
actually,
250.
Most of these people, they are taken advantage of because there are some middlemen. For them, they have their companies, and their job is just to buy from those who they have already blinded that it's impossible.
That it's impossible.
So you find them buying all these maybe maize, like you talked about schools. They buy the maize, the company keeps buying, and then they are the ones that
exactly.
So you find the price they are cheating you because the price they are taking from you and the price that they are selling.
Never gamba nenda gwe tolina sebo line nimiro yo but tolina company.
Tolina company.
And abasacha pagala company. Kakati nze nina company. Yet gwe you're a farmer, but you can also have your company for just 250,000, and with that company you can get a tender to supply a restaurant with food, to supply schools when they open, you know.
And these tenders are coming in by the day.
Yes.
Day. Now you talked about, there's one thing that you also need to break down for them. What is the memorandum and articles, and how can they
get them? Actually, now the Uganda Registration Services Bureau has even made it very easy for someone to have memorandums. They have the new version of the memorandum, which is pages bidi. Yeah, it is either actually page emu, either page emu or bidi, something like that. It is so small. You just most of it is already printed within the form. Okay. Or take a signature of the shareholders, the shareholders, or take a shares how many shares is each taking, or signing a once, or take a bufananyi wo,
filling a form your company secretary.
Yes, that director, particulars of directors, and I think about 2 forms, and before you know it, you have your company.
Oh, that's great. So the lawyers are no longer.
It is so sad, but
because
it is sad.
Usually the memorandum and
was done by the lawyers. Monange these days bagenda batujja mu mpola.
But it's also good that because you're also an extra expense.
Yes.
So, and for that person who is down there and hustling, you really you don't want to be the reason why
someone has failed to register their business. Yeah. Yes.
So I am saying that it's really important.
It is really important, and I think government needs to come out in different languages. Of course, I know that right now the Uganda Registration Services Bureau is decentralized. It's in Fort Portal, it's in Mbarara, it's in other districts.
So are they sensitizing them about
now? That is it. Government needs to do massive sensitization in different languages to tell people, banango sobola, you can register your own company, you can register your own business name, and get the benefits that come from that.
I think most people cannot draw the line between when do I need to register.
Yes.
So even if she's selling her matoke at home, she doesn't see herself as a business person, and she doesn't see the need.
Yes.
But now that you have come up with that amount of 30, below 100, I'm sure it's something that is going to
resonate well, to motivate people
to go and register. And the advantages, the benefits
are many.
So I think you need to break them down for them so that they understand that this is only for their own good.
Now, when you have your business registered, ngeri system, anyone who wants to deal with you, because they will know that you're not a crook, you're not a rogue. When you want to enter into a contract, let's go even back to say that the moment Haji Sebaduka, I'm giving examples, and his wife registered their company. So now, Mumateka, a company becomes a different person from Haji Sebaduka and his wife. Your company is totally different. That means it can own its own bank account, it can buy its own land, it can have its own vehicle, in the names of the company. Kakati sente za Haji Sebaduka ne mchala weteza sente ze nyanya tebaziteeka mu business. Kubanga now the business, that company has its own account in the bank. Meaning that now because that company has its own account, it can even access cheap credit. You know, now in COVID, the government has, the lending rate has gone down, which means even the commercial lending rate has gone down, which means now Haji Sebaduka can access cheap credit for his company. And because that company has a different bank account, togamba banange, now if you're not registered, you say, awakabagale nyanya, muwe sente, otola mza business. When will your business ever grow?
It will not grow.
But now, because now you have organized structures, you have your own separate bank account, you can say, banange, twafunyeyo ka deal, kakati tusobola gula emotoka ya company. Kakati eno emotoka egenda kubeera nga aka pick up cafe kali manyaga company nga it will go to the garden wherever it is in Mayuge, where pick the matoke and supply people in Kampala. Now the money to service that car will come from the account.
The
company account. Kakati tokute kuzawaka. Now you're able to see we've made profit, but never know we can carry out our daily expenses. Twagala kusasula abakozi tugende ku company account. So each time you're following your money is growing. You see where it goes. There are systems you can follow it.
You're able to account for it.
You're able to account rather than to say banange tetuli registered kakati account yes yawaka account yesula business. So such businesses can never expand. They can never grow. So we are saying there is access to cheap credit.
Actually, now we've talked about that before even you go further. There's a time I had like a certain class of businessmen, illiterate one.
Yes.
And they have this fear of when take a center company and account your company, URA. Enzijira. So that's why they take it to their personal accounts.
Yes.
What do you say about that?
Of course, you know that the moment you register a business, that means you have come under the confines of the laws of Uganda. That means you're bound to follow the laws, the legal regime, amateeka ga Uganda. And you know what that does? Because woba ogenda kudealinga n'abantu abategeevu or serious people, they want to see your tax compliance. Chiri chitya. Now you want a deal, Katugambe, you want a deal, maybe to supply a serious school like Kampala Parents. Kampala Parents agenda kulingiriza, it will peep and see, oyo msaja where he is going to supply us, but how tax compliant is he? Has URA mubanja bate mubanja?
Actually, so, for any public procurement, you must have a tax clearance.
Yes. Tax clearance certificate. So tax compliance is important in as much as we are telling the government that in order to develop the economy, you need to reduce the tax burden on the Ugandan person, especially during this time. It's during this time.
To help them go through.
It. Otherwise, in the next 3 years, God forbid, I don't want to be a prophet of doom, but if government does not have proper interventions, we are yet to see many businesses sinking because of this burden of COVID-19. Yes. So, of course, there is the tax burden that is a challenge to those who are registered. Though, like we said, the benefits are many. Like we said, you can enter into contracts. People want to deal with a registered person. Because first of all, you have a registered address. Tunamsanga wa watambula ne sente za. Alimu Uganda
baba. Street contract. Street deals. And people get money and take off.
So
someone has to first.
But bobo yagala kugenda mu court.
Confidence in
what is the address of that person. Ogenda no carrying out search in a mom, you find out, this is the address. This is the what. So people can comfortably deal with you. People can comfortably. So there are so many. Those are some of the benefits that someone would get.
You can break them down so that they are
convinced
that this is the way to
go. So like we said, first of all, easy access to credit from the bank. Bank ateziyinza kudealinga n'omuntu nga tali registered ekyo kyerabire. Any microfinance institution, there's very microfinance. They want to deal with people who are what? Are registered. So it is
up to the village level for
yes. They want to deal with someone who is registered. Microfinance to get a loan to expand your business. The fact that you've been closed there and you want to get some cheap credit to inject in your business, then you must be registered to get access to credit. Then also we are saying for proper organization of your business structures, to see for income growth, for business expansion. It allows for business expansion, like you said, you're orderly. You have a proper account. You can buy land in the names of the business. You can have that land in the names of the business. You can have vehicles in the names of the business. Then also it prevents what we call stealing your ideas. You have your name, let's say Sandy's Natural Hair Salon. Now Sandy's is there. Now it's growing. People like the way you do your hair. Women are excited that you're breaking even. You're the first natural hair salon. You see you're getting money. You see your business is slowly growing. But then some Kenyan says, there is a business in Uganda called Sandy's Natural Hair. It is growing. It's booming. Let me go and inject cash and take it. Now what the Muna Kenya will come and do? they will go to the Uganda Registration Services
And register. And search.
and search and say, is Sandy's Natural Hair Salon is it registered with the Registration Bureau? They'll say, Bambi, no, Sandy's did not register her business. Do you know what they will do? The Kenyan will register the very name of your business, the very colors of your business, and then inject a lot of money. Then you'll see how all your customers will think that you have expanded. And all move away from you.
That's absurd.
And take and go with the Bana Kenya. You cannot even go to court to say, Banange banzi biyako business. Because how? Your business is not registered. Your idea, the creative idea that you brought to Uganda, that you brought to Ugandans is not registered. So someone will come and snatch it right from under you. So that is why it is important to register, so that you protect your goodwill of your business that you have built.
It's like clothing your business.
You clothe your business, you protect your goodwill that you have built, you protect your creativity. That is what we call registering of a trademark, registering of a trade name. Yeah? So yes, that is one of them. Because once you have such a thing registered, such a business registered, you go to court. Ofuna lawyer wo. And you go and say, Mlamuzi, I was the first person to register this business in Uganda. I was the first person to bring these ideas. This is my registered business. These are the colors of my business. This is my logo. But yet there is a person who has come from Kenya into my territory, and they are trying to put up a competing business. So once you're registered there, you can have a cause of action. You can win that case.
Now we're coming back to the accounts. You talked about accounts and audits, because it's very important in business to have accounts and audits.
Accounts and audits.
And I think we can also talk about that part of where you have to account and audit your books.
Yes. You can't have an auditor when you're not a registered business. Kubanga sente zofune za business oziteka mzenyani. So you cannot, how will you audit your business? How will you account? So that is why registration of a business helps you have organized structures, helps you keep proper books of accounts. Proper books of accounts, so that you can say, this is the expenditure for a particular year of income. This is the loss, this is what I've spent, this is the profit margin, this is what the loss, loss, expenditure, profit margin, any one of those, so that you have proper audits. That helps in terms of growth, that helps you reflect and say, how can I do better, where can I improve, what did we spend much on, where can we cut our costs, are we spending much on salaries? Have we made such a profit that our business should have 5 employees, or do we need to cut the number so that we have only 2, so that we can save that money and inject it somewhere else? So that is what also having a proper and organized business structures helps you with.
Oh, that's something we need to learn, and everyone needs to learn for business growth. We have finished registering. We are good to go.
Yes.
What are expectations? What do you expect from these people after they have registered? What are their annual, because most times it's annual, what are the annual expectations from there?
I think once you have registered, you have
as URSB.
Once you get your certificate of incorporation, from Uganda Registration Services Bureau. Of course, the next now you have to pay for a trading license. You get a trading license from KCCA to allow you to carry on trade for that particular year. Yes. So those you can get a trading license. It depends on the level. What is the size of your business? What is the size of your business? It depends really. But KCCA trading license fees, I don't think is that much.
No, it's not.
It's not that much. I think it depends. For a small business, it can go between, I think, 150. It can go, it must have moved from 150 now. It's about 200 to maybe about
200 and above is for really big businesses.
But it's not so, it's around there. It can't go past 500, I think, for a very small business.
And I think also the annual returns, you have to have annual returns.
Now the annual returns that you file with the Registrar of Companies simply remind the registrar that we are these kinds of people. This is still our address. These are still our directors. We are still like this. If there is any change, you also inform them
in the annual return.
Yes. Then also, of course, you have what we call the resolution. Kakati, once you have a company, it's no longer these things into you're acting juakali. You have to sit if you're directors in a company, if your husband and wife and your directors, you're supposed to sit and agree. Because the signatures of both of you must be on the resolution of the business. To say, now let us get a loan from the bank. You sit and you say, muchala kubanga nawe oli director tutule kukameza, and we see tufune loan. Once you agree, you that is when you make that company resolution that says we sat in a meeting, fenga ba director netukiriza that let us get a loan from the bank, and netutekako emikono, we signed the resolution and we took it to the company registry for registration. Then those are the documents the bank will need, plus of course the company registration documents to give you credit.
That's why it's very important. I think these people need to know that, our viewers need to know that it's very, very vital that when you're appointing directors for your company, there must be people you really trust. Because I have handled a case before where the directors, the rest of the directors, passed a resolution to throw out the main director.
Yes.
And that is the person who had put in the money.
Yes.
And he had traveled abroad, and they passed a resolution to sell a huge chunk of land.
Wow.
And by the time he came back, the land was
nothing.
gone.
His
And
business was...
And it had gone through a proper procedure, by the way. They threw him out first, then they passed another resolution, sold off the land. But it came out later that he is the one even who had wired money for that land. So it's very...
So I think it involved police and others?
Of course it involved police, but it was the longer route.
Yes.
And the land is gone, the other one becomes bona fide. So you ask yourself, where did he get these directors from? But I think there are people he just picked. You know, sometimes you just pick them just to fulfill the...
You need people who are for you.
But
nga mutegereka, you understand each other. My Luganda, mutegereka...
Mine is worse.
You understand each other. You need people... kutegeregana.
As it's kwetegereza.
Kwetegereza.
Abantu bokwetegereza.
Yeah. People who can understand you. You have the same vision. Mwena muli ku kintu you trust. Omwesiga na ya kwesiga. Those are the people you should work with in your business. If you're going to take it to grow your business, especially if it's starting from a very small, platform. And
even when it comes to accounts, to opening bank accounts.
Yes, the signatories.
Also, the signatories, don't just get any signatory.
Yes.
Because in my experience, I've handled so many cases that these mistakes could have been avoided from the word go.
I agree with you.
Someone has a company and it's either or. The signatory is dangerous. Either or. And a transaction comes in, this gentleman is out of the country, his partner is around, receives a lot of money, puts it on the account, but I think had already planned to go out, to take his business away. So he took this money just like that. By the time he came back, the people, suppliers were demanding him. When he demanded, the clients like, no, we paid your company off.
Lack of disclosure.
And when he checked with the bank, they had received the money, and the bank is not to blame because your signatory came and took it away, and it was so sad. In fact, it made me realize that it's either or is a very dangerous thing.
In law we call it a mandate. Be very careful who you give your mandate. It's the company mandate, especially in terms of signatories, who shall sign the bank account. You'd rather have joint signatures where you sign and I sign. Not if I'm not in Uganda, either or this one can handle. Knowing what we have seen as lawyers, it is advised that you don't do that.
And it's also advised that I think you'd rather keep your company in family. Mukyala wo, omwana wo, abo bwe bakuba, it's still coming back to the family. But when you have a stranger, someone just from there coming and taking over, it's so painful.
Yes.
It's really, and it's irreversible. Most times it's really, there are
heartbreaking.
Mistakes. There are small things that they didn't realize that could really be effective. But when you go to go to court, I usually advise them, I'm like, you know what, don't waste your money in court. the bank, who are you going to sue and for what?
That's true.
That is your loss, deal with it.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
So now I think we're coming to challenges of business registration.
We had hinted a little about some of the challenges because
yeah.
we talked about the fact that the capital, the income that you have might be, you know, minimal. You might have, your resources might not be enough. And that is why, by the way, I can tell you that SACCOs have helped Ugandans.
Yeah.
Because you find now, someone will say,
I'm in one myself.
Okay, that is good. Actually, SACCOs have been of help to the informal sector. Because someone says, at least we let us put our resources together so that we can achieve a common goal. What I cannot manage because my income is very little, I can manage through a SACCO of 10, a SACCO of 30. We can start a business through a SACCO because me as a person, I have very little income. So one of the challenges to business registration is your income might be very minimal, very little. It might not be enough to do everything that you want. And that is what has stopped many startups and small, what we call SME, small enterprises especially, from registering. Or going formal. That is the, the finances, the income, what we call income, to do, to formalize. Then also, like we said, others think, lawyer. Like I said, now the Registration Service Bureau has simplified processes that you can go and register, though there are some certain things that you might need a lawyer as the process continues. But for you to register your small company, your small business name, it has simplified the process. You can go there and they help you at a minimal fee. Then, though my colleagues in the profession might eat me for saying that. We are trying to help Ugandans here. Though, of course, there are scenarios where you will need a lawyer. You, as the matter, to interpret documents, to say pleader, wano bagamba chi, wano signinge wa, wano omukono nguteeka wa, kakati osanga nti oyinza kwagala pleader. Kukunyonyola.
Even the banks, I've handled cases where businessmen or these affected persons have already committed themselves to certain clauses.
Yes.
And
they come
in the eventuality and you say like, no, I just such kiddies and you signed already. And I don't know if the banks have time to take them through these things.
I don't think so.
But I think a lawyer is very necessary there.
Yes. Omusasula sente zo, but nakunyonyola buli kakwakulizo. Every clause the lawyer will explain to you so that chokola nga kibeera nga kirimu amagezi nga kituufu. So you find that we said the cost of legal fees is one of the things. Then we said income is limited. Then what else did we say? Fear of URA. Fear of the heavy tax burden. People are saying, banange nina capital wange mutono. Then I go and register. Then the moment I register, ndabe URA banzijire. They come to charge me all those taxes. So you find that the fear of the tax burden is one of the hindrances to registration. Let me see what else. Also sensitization, like we've been talking. People do not know that you can register a company for 250,000.
No, that one.
So sensitization, people don't know. So to know that there are some business names, the registering a business name can cost you 100K. Reserving the name and registering it mitwale kumi.
Then I can access a facility in the bank. Why don't I just register?
Exactly.
And there are many facilities that are around that are available, especially during this COVID.
Even microfinance.
And money has been put into microfinance. Money is being put into farming.
Yes.
So there is no microfinance that is going to give you money unless you register.
Even government bailouts, because government said that it's going to give people money hard hit by those who have been hard hit by COVID. Let's say the bars, the saloons. Kakati chetaga nga bakusanga government ekusanga nga wali oli registered. Nga muzeyi bw'abanoonya akalulu. Nga ayagala ateeke sente mu sectors. Be registered. Yes. Let government find you.
Government find you
ngoli registered
with your paperwork. And thank you for the enlightenment or the insight into business registration. I think it has changed a lot about the perception.
The perception, yes.
Because many people have taken this like it's an
Doable.
imaginary thing to do. And yet even with where we're heading, we need it more because many businesses are going online.
Who knew that people in Nakasero market would put their services online. And need through Jumia advertise their things online. Kakati wobera walinga let's say like Haji Semambo ngalino mudala gwe Nakasero market, and you want your products to be put online. How do you distinguish yourself from another stall
from
omudala omulala? At least when you know that you're registered, they'll say, Haji Semambo and Sons through his business name. Those are his products. This is our person who we buy from daily. So people can locate you online. Yes.
That is very important. I'm sure they've listened and they've learned.
Thank you.
They need to take a step further. I know there are many business people out there that have taken this for granted, but now this is the time to sober up. We have a lot in store. The government has a lot to help, but I'm sure, I know for sure that the government is not going to do anything unless URSB is aware about you. Because it's as good as giving you the money and going for a holiday in Bahamas. You need to be in the system. Anne, I know you're an advocate.
Yes.
And I just want to hear from you and the rest, because you talked about your service in Uganda Law Society.
Yes, yes.
What do you advocate for?
Thank you very much. Now, I work with, like I said earlier on, that I sit on the Executive Council of the Uganda Law Society. One of our core objectives is to provide access to legal aid services for the poor and the vulnerable of this country. Yeah? So we have legal aid clinics spread across 24 districts in Uganda, where we have our frontliners who are lawyers, who are ready to provide for you. Bakukuba, let's say domestic violence, or Arua, you're saying, Mukama, where can I get a lawyer? In Arua, we have a legal aid clinic. In Gulu, we have legal aid. In Fort Portal, we have legal aid. Tulina ba lawyer bafe. That babech banja change. Where can I go? Sirina Center as a lawyer. Uganda Law Society, through our legal aid clinics spread across, like I said, the 24 districts, we can be able to provide Ugandans who have no means legal aid services.
Is it completely free of charge?
It is completely free of charge. We will take on your matters, we will handle your files, and ensure that justice is done for the people of Uganda.
There's also, now it comes to a little perception observed about legal aid from people. They think, because most of their cases are maybe are versus rich people, companies. Said bagenda musasura ati ze simu waddeyo bali bagenda muwayo musango genda kunsinga. What do you talk about that?
So why we are saying si byawerera ddala kubanga our legal aid and pro bono scheme is funded. We have support from the donor community to ensure that our lawyers ababeera nga bakola ku misango gyo waliwo tubawayo akasente. So tolowooza tuba facilitating nga tubawa amafuta tubawayo akasente. Kakati tolowooza nti bw'aba akute ku file yo bannange talina kyafunye. Nedda tubeera nga tukitegeera nti bagenda kuyamba abantu people who are not able to get legal services. So we make sure that we facilitate them for the files that they handle. Kakati tobeera onoti nti bannange lawyer sirina kyemuwaddeyo tagenda kukola ku file yange. No. We pay their transport, we facilitate them to make sure that they are adequately facilitated to handle your matters.
That is great news for most people today.
Thank you.
I don't think many people, because I've seen people puzzled about.
Yes, they are beating you in a house.
Yeah.
They want to kill you.
They want to kill you. You don't have where to run to. Yeah. And they are always sitting at center. And like your service is almost the same as the service that we do. And you see them and senior centers agenda mu court.
Yes.
I always send them to legal aid and we get a good response from there.
Yes.
So what else do you advocate for as Uganda Law Society?
So
how do you help community?
Like I said, we have our legal aid clinic
That is one.
in the Uganda Law
That
Society.
is very important.
We are also passionate about women issues, sexual and gender-based violence, and we have actually during this COVID time, there has been a lot of gender violence. We have had reports of people being killed. We because of domestic quarrels. Then we have seen children being sold in child marriages. The other time NBS ran a story in Busoga where children were being sold in child marriages. So some of those are the things that we tackle, sexual and gender-based violence, through our legal aid clinics to see how we can help those victims, because we have the they call it the Domestic Relations Act of Uganda that is in force, that makes sure that it holds the perpetrators culpable and that it compensates the victims. Then we can have also those people tried through the courts of law. We can make sure that they even compensate the victims. Yes.
Oh, I think it's good to know.
Yes.
Because outside business, we also have another life. So what are your closing remarks?
Okay. Well, my closing remarks, as you know, we are not anywhere allowed to campaign.
I know. You're not campaigning, but I know they've seen your face somewhere.
Yes.
Before.
Yes. Like I told you, you know that I'm standing for president, Uganda Law Society. Anyway, I do not want to be in breach of any of our electoral laws because we are not allowed to campaign to the public. Our campaign should be restricted to the lawyers. So I will not say much about that, but I just want to tell Ugandans that if you find yourself in a dire need of a lawyer, women lawyers are very empathetic to the plight of people. For women lawyers, first of all, we deliver. And that not only women lawyers, but women in general. One thing I have noticed is that women leaders are able to deliver on their mandate. And that is why we have seen even during this time the president has surrounded himself with women. Because once a woman says njakwata kufailu yo tebakuja kutwala taka lyo njakuyamba, that person will live to their expectation. When a woman says, when you say banange counsel pleader sirina sente, the woman will say kale tujakulaba. So I would like to applaud. I know that the men have done a good job. You're the champions. You have always set the pace. But now in this era, the women have risen to the occasion. The women everywhere across the world have risen to the occasion to take center space in politics, in commerce, in, in the judiciary, in every other area. We are seeing women rise up, and they have done a commendable job. So I thank Emanzi for this platform that they are using to enlighten Ugandans about how to, start up businesses, to give business information, because we know that people have been under lockdown. Now they are coming up and saying, So to have such a platform like this,
need like second chance,
where people can be given information, I applaud Emanzi and your entire team.
Thank you,
because you're doing an amazing job to contribute to our nation of Uganda and the Ugandan people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that was Anne. That was it was epic, because we usually talk about how to start businesses, how to run businesses, but now this is business registration. This is something that anyone out there needs to have done even before Anne started, because the benefits supersede the challenges. We need to find a way to get in line with our businesses, because there are many opportunities that are going to come, especially through government, through financial services, and they need to find us ready. We don't want to miss out really, because our businesses are struggling. Some of us are being choked, but to grab these opportunities, we need to have followed what Anne has said. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for tuning in and being patient with us. We thank our sponsor Serena once again. Thank you for taking care of us. We feel heavenly. Our subscribers, our viewers, continue to share these messages, and let's help people get out of these situations. God bless you and have a nice day.